Hey guys, it's Matt Vanderzal. I'm here with Coldwell Banker Momentum Realty Brokerage, and today we're going to be going over leasing and some things you can do to help make the process go smoothly. Let's go! We've all been there. You're pushing 30 and you're still stuck at home with your parents. Maybe you've been in a serious relationship and you're finally ready to take the next step and get your own space to see how you guys live together. Maybe you're a student who's lived on res for the last couple years and are not looking forward to going back to your parents' house. Whatever the reason is, it's likely crossed your mind to start looking into leasing. So, what is leasing? Often used interchangeably, leasing is similar but not quite the same as renting. Leasing involves a contract between the lessor, who is the person who owns the property, and the lessee, which is the person who's going to be moving into the property, granting its use for a specified amount of time, for a specified price, and outlining the responsibilities, all in a formal document called the lease agreement. Leasing offers more stability than renting, as there's a contract that is signed by both parties, essentially saying you can stay as long as you pay rent and abide by the rules. So how can you make your leasing process successful? Here are a few tips that you can follow to help you get ahead of the game if you're looking to get into a lease. First thing you're going to need to do is create a budget. I know I went over this in my first video on how to buy a house for the first time, but creating a budget is critical for you to plan how much home you can afford, whether it be buying a house or leasing. Just imagine you were planning a trip with your friends. You thought you had everything organized. You tell them it's going to be a certain price, only to find out that you forgot to account for food. How embarrassing would it be to go back to those friends and tell them, hey, I'm going to need more money because I didn't budget properly? Knowing how much money you have and what you can afford on the day-to-day is critical to ensuring you get a property that fits your means. A good rule of thumb when it comes to leasing is to not spend over 30% of your gross income on rent. This is just a guideline, so depending on where you're going to be renting, you might have to make some adjustments on the percentage based on the average rent in that area. So, for example, if you bring in $4,000 monthly before taxes, you should not be spending more than $1,200 a month on rent. If you're going to be renting with a partner, all you do is combine your incomes and follow that same rule of thumb. So that $1,200 apartment you can afford now becomes a $2,400 apartment you can afford. The next thing you can do is have savings ready for a deposit. Most residential leases require first and last month's rent be paid up front. So for example, if you're going to be renting an apartment for $2,000 a month, you're going to need to have $4,000 ready for the landlord at the time of the lease. The next thing you can do is complete a credit check. You can complete a soft credit check through apps like Equifax or CreditKarma, which do not impact your credit score. This is usually enough for landlords when you're applying for a lease. Another thing you're going to likely need is proof of income. This can be done using recent pay stubs, a letter from an employer, or if you're self-employed, your notice of assessment from the previous year. The last thing you can do prior to actually going out and checking out some properties is get some references together. The number of references required sometimes varies, but usually 2 references is a good place to start. References can be anyone from your previous landlord, your employer, or even personal friends and family if you've never rented before. So that concludes my video on leasing and how you can prepare yourself to make sure the process goes smoothly. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to drop a comment below, or you can message me through any one of the contact methods listed in my bio. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, have a blessed day.